Scene 2. Alarm within. Enter King Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox in attendance. Meeting a bleeding captain. So somebody who's just come from war and he's bleeding. He's been hit by a sword.
I've been hit in the shoulder.
Duncan. What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt of the new estate. So there's a revolt going on in Scotland. Malcolm. This is the sergeant who like a good and hearty soldier fought against my captivity, so he saved him. Hail, brave friend, say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it. Doubtful it, and the captain says, doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald worthy to be a revel, for that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him, upon the western
like a
isles.
bee swarm, or is it just like a swarm?
Yeah, swarm upon the multiplying villainies. Well, villainies are like things that he does bad to the people, like if he burns houses down and stuff like that.
Or like he just stabs a random person.
Yeah.
Basically, so like you know what? I feel angry today. Just gonna stab you. Just gonna stab you.
So do swarm upon him from the western isles, of kerns and gallows glasses is supplied, and fortune on his damned quarrel smiling showed like a rebel's horror. But all too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name.
Macbeth.
Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution. Like valor's minion carved out his passage, till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook his hands, nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave of the chops, and fixed his head upon the battlements. So he cut his head off and put it up on the battlements to prove that he had won. Duncan, the king, says, "O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman." And the captain says, "As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwracking storms and dire thunders break." So, from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, which means pay attention. No sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, which means they ran away. But the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault. So the battle wasn't over. Duncan, dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo? So were they not dismayed by this when they made another assault? Captain, yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hair of lion. If I say sooth, there's sooth.
Sooth! I want some sooth!
I must
Give
report
me some sooth!
that they were as
I need some sooth!
they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks. So they redoubled strokes upon the foe.
So he doubly redoubled the double of the double?
Doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in
So
reeking
basically,
wounds.
he doubled the double of the double. Redoubled the double.
They're doubling
of
down.
the double.
Or memorize.
Doubling down on the doubling down on the sooth.
Or memorize another
sooth.
Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint. My gashes cry for help. Duncan. So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go get him surgeons. Exit. Captain attended. Enter Ross and Angus.
I love Ross!
Who comes here? Malcolm. The worthy Thane of Ross. Lennox.
Yeah, Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look that seems to speak things strange. Ross. God save the Queen. Duncan. Whence came thou, worthy Thane? Ross, from Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. So it's the Norwegians are invading. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Calder. So the Thane has betrayed the Scottish. Began a dismal conflict till the Belladonna's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us. Duncan, great happiness, Ross, that now Sveno, the Norwegians' king, craves composition, nor would we design him burial of his men till he dispersed at St. Combs in $10,000 to our general use. So they made the Norwegians pay $10,000 to get the bodies of their men from the field. Duncan says, the king says, no more that Thane of Calder shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth. So as you get that rhyme, that means the scene is on.
Great Macbeth.
Death and Macbeth. You see that rhyme?
Macbeth.
So they're going to kill. He says, go kill the Thane of Calder for his treasoning, and give his title to Macbeth. And Ross says, I'll see it done. And Duncan says, what he hath lost, noble Macbeth has won. So then you have the rhyme of done and won.
Done, won.
And then that's an indication that the scene is over. Scene 2 is over.
Scene 3. Scene 3.
Oh, the witches. Wind, thunder. We gotta get. Alright. First witch. Where hast thou been, sister? Second witch. Killing swine. Third witch. Sister, where thou? First witch. A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Anoint thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the Tiger. But I in a sieve, I thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do. Second witch. I give thee a wind. First witch, thou art kind. Third witch, and I another. So they say they give thee a wind. That they believed back then that witches could actually control the weather and create lightning and stuff like that. First witch, I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, and all the quarters that they know.
That was a rhyme.
Yeah, and for the shipman's card, I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live, a man forbid. Weary serve nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have. So he's saying this sailor is going to encounter all these problems. Show me, said the second witch. First witch, here I have a pilot's thumb. Racked as homeward did he come. Drum within. Third witch, a drum, Macbeth doth come. All dancing in a circle. The weird sisters hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again, and make up 9.
Thrice.
Peace, the charms wound up. All right, you know the line, the weird sisters hand in hand. All right, this is a great trivia question. What was the name of the pop band that played on the Yuletide Ball in Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets?
The Weird Sisters?
The Weird Sisters. And
or was it the Strange Sisters?
No, I looked it up. It was the Weird Sisters. And there's actually a band in Canada called the Weird Sisters. They spell it W-Y-R-D.
The word.
Weird. No, it's pronounced weird. But they were not allowed. Harry Potter, the people that produced the movie, were not allowed to use their name because it was already copyrighted. So in the movie, they introduced the band by saying the band that needs no introduction. So that's why they never say Weird Sisters, is because there was a copyright issue. But do you know that weird...
Oh shoot, I keep standing on the microphone, I'm sorry.
That's alright, hopefully everybody can hear us. But it turns out that weird, W-Y-R-D, is actually an old English word for the word fate. Yeah. And do you remember who the Fates were? From Percy Jackson and also mythology.
They were like sisters?
They were the three sisters. Clotho, who spun the web of life. Lachesis.
If only I had 3 cats.
And Atrophos.
3 weird cats.
Yes, and Atrophos. And what did Atrophos do? After the thread of life was woven, what did Atrophos do with it?
They snipped it.
Snip. That's when you died.
We are the 3 weird siblings.
So the 3 witches, in a way, are sort of representing the fate of Macbeth in the play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really up to and Macbeth is about to enter. And so Macbeth says, in his first line, "So foul and fair a day I have not seen." You know what you know what he means by that?
So good and bad.
Right.
Day I might
good in that he defeated
that place and that time.
Yeah, and the Norwegians, but bad because
he has to meet them.
No, because so many of his men were lost. So many people died. So it was fair and so foul and fair a day I have not seen. And his friend and General Banquo says, "How far 'tis called to the fours, what are these so withered and so wild in their attire?" He's talking about the witches that look like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught that man may question? So he's asking, are they living? You seem to understand me, by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so. So apparently they have beards too. They have hair on their face.
Who cares about their hair on their face?
And Macbeth said,
"It's called free, no makeup. I mean, we all grow them. We all grow them. You all know that."
So Macbeth
says, we all grow them everywhere.
So Macbeth says, "Speak if you can."
We all do. We just shave our legs and we shave our face.
Speak if you can. What are you? And the first witch says, "All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis." Second witch, "All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Calder." And the third witch, "All hail, Macbeth! Thou shalt be king hereafter." And Banquo, "Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly you show? My noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction." In other words, they're predicting that he's going to be king of Scotland, "of noble having and royal hope, and yet he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time, if you can look into the future, and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me. Neither beg nor fear your favors, nor your hate. So he's saying, tell me about my future. And the first witch says, hail. And then the second witch says, hail. And the third witch says, hail. And the first witch says, lesser than Macbeth and greater. And the second witch says, not so happy, yet much happier. See the equivocation of they're being purposely vague. And the third witch says, thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So you will not be a king, but you will have kings from your family. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. First witch, Banquo and Macbeth, all hail. And Macbeth says, stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Calder? The Thane of Calder lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief. So he can't believe that he's going to be king one day.
There's a train.
No, we'll just run with it. No more than to be Calder. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you. The witches vanish.
Hold on, I'm gonna do my special
No.
exit. This is my special exit. Leggy, out.
Banquo says, the earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are them. Whither are they vanished? Where did they go? Come on, Rose.
Where did they go?
Macbeth.
Nigel.
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they have stayed? He wished that they had stayed so they could learn more. Banquo, were such things as we do speak about, or have we eaten the insane root that takes the reason prisoner? So have they eaten something that's making them gone crazy?
Woo, crazy.
And Macbeth says, your children shall be kings. And Banquo says, you shall be king. And Macbeth says, and the Thane of Calder too. Went it not so? Banquo, to the self-same tune and words, who's here? Enter Ross and Angus.
Rise!
And Ross says, the king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of the success. And when he reads thy personal venture on the rebels' fight, he wonders, and he praises, do contend which should be thine and or his. Silence with that, in viewing o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afraid of what thyself didst make. Strange images of death, as thick as tale came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises. So every report that he got from the battle, they bared the praises of Macbeth. And everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him. And then Angus said, we are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. And Ross, and for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Calder, in which, so he did get the title of Thane of Calder, in which edition hail most worthy Thane, for it is thine. So you have the title. Banquo, what, can the devil speak true? And they realize the witch's prediction has come true. Macbeth, the Thane of Calder lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes? So in other words, he's going to have to wear the robes of the Thane of Calder. So he says, why do you dress me in borrowed robes? In other words, he doesn't know yet that the Thane is out. And Angus says, who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose, whether he is combined with those of Norway, so he's gone in with the Norwegians, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wrack. I know not, but treason's capital, confessed and proved, hath overthrown him. So Macbeth, an aside, so he's talking off camera. Glamis and Thane of Calder, the greatest is behind. So he's realizing that the prophecy is coming true. And then to Ross and Angus he says, thanks for your pains. And then aside to Banquo he says, do you not hope your children shall be kings? And when those that gave the Thane of Calder to me promises no less to them. And then Banquo says to Macbeth, that trusted home might yet enkindle you up into the crown, besides the Thane of Calder. But 'tis strange, and sometimes to win us our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truce. Win us with honest trifles to betray in deepest consequence. Cousin, a word, I pray you. And he converses apart from Ross and Angus. So this is an aside. Two truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. And then, as an aside, this supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commanding in truth? I am Thane of Calder. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image does unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs? Against the use of nature, present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what it is not. And Banquo says, look at how our partner's wrapped. Macbeth aside, if chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir. And Banquo, new honors come upon him, like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use. And Macbeth, come what may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. Banquo, worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure. Macbeth, give me your favor, my dull brain has wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. And aside to Banquo, think upon what hath chanced, and at more now. So he's saying, think about what's happening, and let's talk about let's see what happens next.
It's not text.
We're gonna be.
It's not in our
right.
Yeah, text. So let's meet up face to face and let's talk.
The interim having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts each to each other. So he's saying, let's be honest.
Let's pour out our hearts
about what we've learned. And then Banquo says, very gladly. And Macbeth says, till then, enough. Come, friends. And they all exuent.
I think it's our day to stop because it already just hit 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're at 30 minutes. So we'll pick back up with scene 4.
Tomorrow.
There's going to be a murder soon and some comedy.
Yes.
So please stay tuned.
Goodbye.
This is Rosalee and her dad.
Dad. No, you're forever and will be Dad. And that's Dad. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Alright, wait a minute. But before you stop,
okay.
Let's play a theme song. We can always cut it out later if we get big on YouTube. Yeah. I was thinking Bad Moon Rising. Are you ready?
No.
You ready? Alexa, play Bad Moon Rising.
Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Please hit subscribe, hit that like button, share it to your friends, and all that. Sorry for that silent pause, but yeah.
It's our first podcast.
Hello, I'm up next close to you. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bye.